Hello friends and welcome to our web design and development tutorial. In this part we are discussing about CSS and particularly why we should use CSS. So whenever you see a HTML page without CSS, so the HTML page without CSS has no design and we cannot control the layout of that page without the help of CSS. So CSS is used to provide an eye-catching design to a web page. CSS can control the layout of a web page. CSS can be used to modify properties of each and every element on a web page. We can modify font, background, alignment, orientation, etc. using CSS. So in the previous example, you saw that how we change the font color, how we change the background color. We also aligned the text in center, and we can also change orientation. I will show you more examples of that. CSS can be used to provide variations in display for different devices and screen sizes. Suppose our application is created, our web application is created, so it will be accessed by mobile devices, it will be accessed by desktop computers, and will be accessed by tablets. So our design should be optimized for every screen size. In fact, by using CSS, we can create responsive designs so that our web page will look different on desktop computers and it will look different on mobile devices. So we have an example web page here. In this web page, you can see that our design has a sidebar. It has this section where most of the other information is given. In sidebar, we have created a navigation menu. This particular design is created using a template of startbootstrap.com, and here you can see that so we have various sections here. So in this section you can see the features, then you can see device usage and so on. So there are different colors here and there are some icons here. Alignment is also controlled. You can click on these things. So again, the design of any particular website, the color scheme, the orientation, everything can be controlled using CSS. Now I am on my Google Chrome here, and on Google Chrome I will press Control Shift I. So this is Control Shift and I, or you can go to the inspector here. And in this inspector you can see that currently our selected mobile is Galaxy S5. So Galaxy S5, this means that when you will view this website in Galaxy S5, so your website will look like this. If you will click on this icon here, so you can see, so it looks like page of an app here, right? It looks like, so the view is just like an app here. You can go to many websites that we have created, and in most of the website, even in basic websites also. So this is a transport management system homepage. This is a really basic application for transporters. If you will resize it, so press Ctrl Shift and I. By pressing Ctrl Shift and I, and by clicking on this toggle device toolbar, so I can select any particular, let's say iPhone 5. So this is the view in iPhone 5, and you can see the type of menu is also changed here. So using some properties of CSS, we can achieve results like that. Our web page will look differently for mobile screens and it will look differently for desktop screens. And this is one benefit of CSS. CSS also saves a lot of time. We can create one CSS file and link it with all the pages of our website. And by changing just one file, we can change the look of entire website. So in the example that I demonstrated you, in this example which was discussed in the previous video, in this example you can see that we have written CSS in inside head and in a tag called style. I will copy this code here and I will create a new file and you can see here I have created a new file here. I will save this new file as style.css. So you can see here now the property of this particular document has changed. This document is of cascaded style sheets type, and you can see here also. So you can see style.css, and it is a cascading style sheet document. It is present inside our folder in which are my website. Inside my website folder, we generally create a folder called CSS. So for example, if we have to save documents, we save documents in a different folder. If we have to save images for our website, so we save images in a different folder. And similarly, if you have to save CSS files, so you can create a folder called CSS and then put all your CSS in that CSS file. Using this particular arrangement, it helps a lot in arranging the code in a proper way. So we have all the pages in one folder, we have all CSS files in one folder, all documents in one folder, images in one folder. So now you can see that our CSS is inside this folder, and I can right click and edit with Notepad, or you can edit with any particular type of editor you want. So, and now instead of writing this CSS in the head, I can now do one thing. I can delete this and I can type a tag here. A tag is called link tag, and you have to write rel here. So link rel is equal to style sheet. So we are telling that this link is of type CSS, this link is of type style sheet, and href is where have we saved this particular CSS file. So we have saved this file in CSS folder, and the name of this file is style.css. So we have saved the website, we have saved the file inside our website folders. The folder in which we have saved this file is CSS folder, and that CSS folder we can access directly from the page. So CSS test.html is in the same directory in which we have CSS. So we can access it directly, and we can provide the reference to it. Now if you will reload the page, so you will see no difference here because our CSS is corrected properly, connected to this HTML document. Let's mistype the name here. So let's say styler.css, and now when you will reload your page, so you will see that all style will be gone because the connection between this CSS file and this HTML file is now not connected here because the name is wrong here. Again, let's connect it using the correct file path, and when you will do this, so you will see that it is connected. If you will press Ctrl U, you will be able to see the source of this particular file. Here you can see we have a link here. If you will click on this link, so it will open the CSS code for you. So we can view CSS in our browsers. So we can view CSS in front end. So that's why this particular language is called client side language. So we have HTML and CSS. We can view the CSS, right? So whatever CSS we have written in this file, we can view on browser also. So the client side languages can be seen on client's browser, and that's why they are known as client side languages. So this is work of CSS. Now let's try to make some changes here. Let's say I want to change the font size or font family. So I will change the font family to Verdana. If you want to know about various type of fonts, so you can search about various fonts, and you can also simply open Notepad here, and in Notepad go to format, go to font, and here we have various fonts and their names, and you will also see how these fonts look. So let's say we want to make it this font here, so you can copy the name from Notepad and you can paste it here, or if you remember the names of fonts, so it's best, you can also search it on Google. Now you can see that font is changed. So this is how you can see that the changes that we are making in our style.css file, which is saved in a folder, in a separate folder. So the changes are being reflected to this page. This page is CSS test. Now let's create another page in the same directory, and let's say this page is about us page. About us page, and I will save this page as about.html. So instead of writing hello world, I will write about us, and let's say we teach CSS. So I'm just writing this, we teach CSS. So this is a about us page, and you can see here in this page also we have linked the same CSS file, but here the font and the information is different. This is a different page, and we have another page which is called CSS test.html. We created it in the previous example, and you can see here that in this page we have link tag. So this is the meaning of this line here, that CSS saves a lot of time. We can create one CSS file and link it with all pages of website. By changing the just one file, we can change the look of entire website. So now this file here is also there in our website folder, and it is referred by two documents, two HTML documents, and if we will make any changes here, the changes will reflect in both files. So this is CSS test.html. We can go to our folder here and we can double click on this file, and we can double click on about.html also. So you can see that both the pages look similar, and that's how websites are created, right? All the pages look similar, all the pages have a similar layout, all the pages have similar color scheme, all the pages of one website, of course, and just the information is different. So if you will go to any website, you will notice that in many cases home page is different and other pages are different, so we call that a template. We say that home page has a different template, and the information pages have a different template, and contact page has a different template, blog page have a different template. Let's open a website here. Let's say we want to open SlideScope here, or let's open any website. You can see here this is a website. So in this website we have home page here. So home page has a different template. This website is created using WordPress, and we have used a theme of AccessPress themes. So in WordPress, AccessPress themes, Enlighten theme is this is, I think. So now if you will go to other pages, let's say I will click on services page. So you will see that the alignment and everything on the services page is different. So that's why we can say that the template of this particular page is different than the template of home page. So we'll see how to create a template, how we can design our web pages. So this is the basic of CSS, and this is how we can understand the benefits of CSS. You can see that we just have to create one CSS file, and that CSS file can be used on all the pages, or it can be applied on all the pages. So once again I will explain the syntax of CSS so that you can understand it. So we have P, then round these curly brackets are there, and inside these curly brackets we have name of CSS property, then we have colon, then the value, then semicolon, and if you have to write more than one property for a particular selected tag, so you can write another property here, its value, and then you can add semicolon, then you can write the third property, then you can write any number of properties here. Similarly, we have selected div here, and Div is used to create a division, or you can say div is a container tag. So we contain most of the code in a div tag, and div tag helps a lot in alignment and providing a width to our elements and everything. We will study div tag in a different section. So you will study div tag in the HTML part. Now we have background color, hashtag, NAD. So this is color for color code of some particular color. We have text align center. So these things here which are written after colon, these are values, and these are values for this particular property. And here p and div are tag selectors. So we can see the example here also. That in this case we have h1 and p, and we have selected h1. We can also select p, and we can provide some styling to p. Let's say for p we want the background color to be yellow, and for p we want the font size to be, let's say, 20 pixels. So font size is equal to 20 pixel. It is a way of saying that. You can see here we have two properties. We can write this code in one line also. So you can see here, this is also a correct way of writing CSS. It will also save your space, but again here readability will be compromised. So while creating our documents, we mostly create documents using this pattern. We write different CSS properties in different lines, and then there are tools that can be used to compress CSS. I will also tell how we can compress CSS. And now you can see here that we have background color yellow and font size 20. So we have made changes in one document, that is our style.css. And now I will load the first document, and I will load the second document, about us. You can see the changes are now reflected in both the documents. So this is how we can change one file and changes will be reflected in both files. So this is work of CSS. This is syntax of CSS. We have discussed some properties here. We have discussed background color property, which can change the background color of any particular selected tag, because we have selected h1 here. It doesn't matter how many h1 tags we have there on one document. Let's say there's another h1 tag, and what we do. So we can write anything like that, what we do. So we can write training via development. So we can write things like that. And now when you will reload your about page, so you can see here that we have another heading here, and that is also following the same properties. Now let's make it h2. We know that h2 is for creating subheadings. H1 can be our main heading, H2 can be subheading. So we have tags up to H6, and now you can see, because we have not selected H2 in the selection part, we have selected H1. So our styling will only apply to H1. It will not apply to H2. So this is meaning of this selector. And if suppose if there are 50 H1 tags in one page, so all those 50 H1 tags can be styled using just these lines of code. Similarly, there will be n number of p tags also. So there can be n number of p tags. Let's say I will create some copies of p tag, and I will cut it here. So we can see here there are n number of p tags, and every p tag has the same property. This becomes a problem also. By selecting tags, we are saying that we want to make every p with this color. So this becomes a problem also, and suppose we don't want these paragraph tags to be styled in that particular way. So in the upcoming chapters we will learn how we can select tags using their selectors. So we have a separate thing called selectors in CSS. So we will study about selectors in CSS. We can select CSS on the basis of their name, on the basis of their ID attribute, class attribute. So we can select these properties. We can also, we have pseudo classes selector, pseudo element selector, we have combinators, we have attribute selectors. So I will do a separate chapter for selectors in CSS. For beginners, knowledge of these simple selectors is needed to start things, start creating web pages. This pseudo class selector, pseudo element selector, combinator and attribute selector, these are some advanced selectors, but again knowledge of everything is needed if you want to create eye-catching designs using CSS and HTML. So I will explain everything in the selectors part.